guys, this is TV Talk with Natasha and Kimberly. I am Natasha. Say hello, Kimberly.
Hi, everyone.
And thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about Grimm. We're going to catch up on Grimm because, as you've known from our last episode, we have been out and about, and now we can play catch up with you guys. And let's review Grimm because we got a new character on the scene. Her name is Trubel. And so, so let's first review Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, My Fair Beson, and The Inheritance, because we're almost at the season finale. And just the fact they brought up another, or not another thing, but something that hasn't really been talked about not too much this season at all, I'm really excited about, and I'm looking forward to talking about it with Kim. So let's start, Kim.
Yeah, so I love the fact that they call her Trouble because she's like, they call me Trouble. I'm like, is that a line from a song?
I don't know. It should
sounds
be.
like it, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it probably is. They call me
I think it's just part of her name. Like, it's Teresa Rubble. And so she just combines the two, and it's Trouble.
You call me Trouble. That sounds like something Clint Eastwood would say in a Western. Doesn't it? Like, they call me Trouble.
Yeah, and I had to feel bad for her because she almost got raped by these mean Vessin. I don't even know what they're called. I can't pronounce them at the moment. But there was a potential rape scene. She handled herself, but just the fact that she's now part of a self-defense situation, that's not good. And just her backstory is just, I feel bad for her. Like,
yeah, but we don't know about that yet.
We don't know about that yet. But so Nick and Hank, of course, are assigned to the case. They're like, yeah, we need to figure this out. And in the meantime, she's still kind of like trying to stay hidden. She took their truck, and now she tried to shoplift some stuff. This other Vessin tried to go after her for it, and she was not having it. She was like, leave me alone. She wouldn't leave her alone, so she got killed for it. I mean, let's just be for real. You should have left her alone.
Exactly.
You wanted to steal her. You wanted to steal what she just stole. Yeah, that wasn't a good look, though.
No honor among thieves.
Yeah, no honor among thieves. And so Nick, of course, go after her. They recruit Monroe, so to speak, because they think it's a certain Vessin, not realizing it could very well be another Grimm. And so Monroe almost gets killed by Trubel. That would have been very bad, and I would have forever been mad at her. They fortunately let her know, hey, it's okay. We kind of know where you are at this point. Let's try and figure stuff out, okay? Now, my problem is, of course, she's now getting away with the crime, or they're just going to leave it unsolved. Like, what? I know it's kind of self-defense in a way, but at the same time, she was a suspect in another case as far as the woman that just got killed for the attempted robbery, so to speak, in the park that someone kind of witnessed. Like, I'm not understanding.
I don't remember exactly. Did she actually kill that woman, or did she just get hurt? And I know she killed the two guys for sure.
She killed the two guys, but she severely injured the woman enough that she died. The paramedics tried to save her, and she wound up dying.
Yeah, no, I can see that being a headache too for Nick and Hank. It was really weird. My camera just did this really blinky thing that totally distracted me. But yeah, I can see that. I mean, I guess they're in a position to kind of cover it up and sweep it under the rug, but they shouldn't get the habit of doing that. And so I think Nick's really concerned about it. About that, you can tell he wants to try. He wants to really help this girl because it is sad. Nobody's explained it to her. She said so herself. She had heard the word Grimm. That's just what they say before they try to kill her. Like, she had no idea what that meant. Right. And so it's really sad. I know he wants to help her, but you can't. There's got to be a fine line there. And I know you can tell he's kind of worried about that.
Yeah, and Julie was not happy initially. She's like, she needs to go. Yeah, but then, of course, she's like, okay, she can stay the night. And side story, Miss Adalind, who I felt really bad last week, she's up to her old tricks again because she wants to find her baby. She thinks that the royals have it. Of course, the new prince, is like, yeah, we got her baby. We got your baby. Yeah. She's fine. Take care of the Grimm. Yeah. Adalind.
Adalind is grasping at straws, which somebody would do if their child was taken from them. This is why they need to sit down and have the conversation. This is what happens. And I knew, I was like, if there's no way this is going to end well, she's not going to turn around and forget about it. And if they're not telling her, they could, I mean, we all know what Adalind can do. And
yeah, she's already started.
Yeah, so I don't want to jump ahead because I was like about to say something like, oh, it's not that episode yet. So, yeah, but...
I mean, every time she starts something, it winds up collapsing, and it starts to affect everyone, not just... Yeah, just it affects everyone to the point where she could lose her powers again.
She'll never lose her powers that way again, ever. I don't think so. She like knows now. She's like, we'll never. She knows what caused it. And she seems to be a bit more powerful than she was before. But like I said, I don't want to jump into that yet. We'll bring that up when we get to it. So let's. I think we should move on to the next episode that had more to do with Trubel because I actually like this character.
Yes. Yes.
She's very interesting, and she you know what she plays the actress plays very guarded very well because she's just she's not malicious, but she's just quiet and she's observing, and you can tell that she wants to trust everybody. She really does because she's never had that before in her life, but she's not forthcoming with information, although it's starting to come more and more now. But she doesn't want to take things from people. When Juliet said you can stay at our house, here's some clothes, and she's like, I'm good with what I have. She's very guarded. So I'm actually glad they told us a little bit more about her, but like I said, I don't want to jump ahead.
I mean, you're starting to get a little bit more about her in each episode. Hank and Nick had to cover as far as like what she was doing even in that crime scene. Let's start out with the beginning of that episode, My Fair Vesson. That was gross. Shoplifting, you get caught, and then you get suck-faced.
Yeah, that was really nasty, and it's so weird. It's like a ring of like girls that wear high-end clothes and go to high-end places, and I don't know what happened. What happened to you? Broke it, you bought it. Because if you went to if you went down to Beverly Hills, all right, and you knocked over a mannequin and it broke glass and destroyed some stuff, you would be getting a bill. Like, they wouldn't just say, it's fine, it was an accident. No. So I was like, that's not going to happen. So it's like this stealing ring that they've got going on, that they find, like, these girls from, like, halfway houses and, I don't know, like, foster homes and whatnot that they take in, and this guy commands under fear.
Yeah. Although I have to shout out to the villain, Michael, is it I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. I know it starts with a G, and I remember him from Young and the Restless. He played Daniel Romanotti for several years. Shout out to him. It was nice to see him again in an episode of Grimm. Like, yeah, you got killed at the end, but it was nice seeing you, and you played a nasty Vesson.
Yeah, he did, and he played it well, too. Like, that kind of where you exude, I don't know, scariness?
Creepiness.
And, yeah. So, but you're kind of calm-faced, so he did that well. And then Trubel, it was kind of awkward when she was sitting at the table. She asked Juliet, so how do you handle this? How do you handle, being married to somebody that sees this stuff? And she's like, we're not married. And I'm like, awkward.
They had to continue the awkward dinner moments. It wouldn't have been right, or just awkward moments, period. It just seems there needs to be an awkward moment in each episode in order for it to feel right at this point. Because I feel like there have been several awkward moments in each episode so far this season, and I'm like, it was time.
Well, Nick needs to marry her, so.
Silence on that. Yeah, just marry the woman. Elope. Have a party later. Just get married already. Make it official.
Mm-hmm. You know what bothers me though is like, okay, so when Trubel was sitting in the when she was sitting in the like police station,
Mm-hmm.
and Wu was telling her about like kind of the crazy stuff that they see, and she's like, oh, I don't have a problem with that, and he's still having nightmares and flashbacks of what happened. And I'm like, oh, he almost told her too.
Yes, he wants to open up, and I'm like, guys, you should have told him. He would have been able to work through it. He didn't have to go to a mental institution. Darn it.
You know what also Trubel reminds me of? The fact that she runs into danger like that. She's Ryan Hardy. When two worlds collide, she's Ryan Hardy. Like, seriously, she just does she just runs into situations.
She is almost trumping Nick like in this episode because she practically killed both of the Besson by the time he got there. I'm like, that's badass.
I know. Like her fighting style too. She's just like, I got this, you know.
Oh, please. Yes. But unfortunately she's had to learn how to do that.
I think it's really cool. And like the last episode that we were talking about, when he was trying to explain to her that there was more things in the trailer if she wanted to look, and she ran into the trailer. Like she's hungry for knowledge. It's not like
she's hungry for knowledge.
She's not like she's closing herself to what they're saying, and she's like, I don't believe you. She's open to all of it, and she's getting like all information, and she's taking it in. And in this episode, I don't know, was this the episode or was it the last Fridays where she finally sits down with Rosalee and Monroe?
That was this past episode.
That past episode. Okay, I don't want to jump into it. But yeah, it's just I like that Nick has taken her under his wing and is kind of like explaining stuff to her. And she got hurt, you know. He like started to suck I don't know what kind of Vesson that was.
I don't know the name, and I'm sorry, I'm not on my Vesson terminology these last few weeks. I swear I'll get it together. But I didn't really pay too much attention to the Vesson name this week.
And it's funny.
Is it Leifschneider?
We must have seen before because they flash back to something like we had seen them before, and I just don't remember because I would have remembered that face. It's a horrible face. But yeah, she got bit by that on her arm, and he's just like, she's gonna get herself killed, and she basically told Nick that she's like, I know I screwed up, just don't give up on me type of thing. And I was like, oh.
Well, if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have found the shoplifting ring as quick as they did. I mean, Let's be for real. She handled it. And she's becoming a little interrogator too. Like she frightened that poor girl that's like the same Vesson as Bud. I felt bad. I was like, but it's the same Vesson as Bud, you meanie.
Yeah,
she can get that information. Yeah, I know.
Because she's not a cop, so she can technically do that, but she shouldn't because she's roaming around with cops and they could get in trouble. But
true.
So I don't know. I'm really liking Trubel more and more they go. I want to know, and this leads us into the next episode that just happened, Inheritance, because that was the main question that I had. I thought this was passed down. Bloodline wise, and so all of a sudden we have Trubel, and her parents were killed by Vesson. We find that out, and she went into foster care. So I'm like, she's related. Like it has to be in her family. Even Nick said that's how they thought it was passed down to. Mm-hmm. And then we find another one, like another Grimm just shows up. It's coincidental, and he's dying. And meanwhile, she's like manifesting or powerful. I'm like, come on. Like, am I just supposed to believe that this is a coincidence? I mean, maybe it is, but
I don't know how many Grimms there are or how they're related. Can I just say in this episode, I wanted to slap the son so many times in this episode. I'm like, can you just go somewhere? Just go away, because you're not helping. Just go away. You talk to someone on the elevator. First off, I'm starting to get suspicious of people now that I talk to in the elevator. This is sad. So first off, the guy mentioned about maintenance, so as to throw suspicion, so to speak. And so your father's paranoid. He has reason to be. You open the door. A guy almost kills you. Your father saves your life, and then you're still saying that he's crazy? I'm not understanding that line of thinking. Someone almost killed you. You got attacked when you opened the door. Your father saves you, and you're like, you're still crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be really, really hard to believe, even if you were told that growing up, if you never saw it. I mean, look at Juliet. She was shown it, and it made it a lot easier for her. And so...
No, just in general, someone coming after you to kill you because they're after something, that part of it, you should have just believed your dad.
Yeah, I
almost got killed. Just that alone, yes.
I think the sense of panic set in was what I think. I think he just did not have the capacity to deal with what happened, and he was reacting. It was kind of a knee-jerk reaction. He wasn't thinking anything through. He was just like, I can't believe this just happened. Somebody tried to kill me. But yeah, he was getting he was getting kind of annoying because
he was annoying. He needed to go somewhere.
But yeah, well, okay, Natasha did not like him at all.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I understand now that it could happen late as far as them being able to see Grimm, because it happened late with Nick. He didn't start really noticing it until not too long after his aunt was put in the hospital, and he thought he was going crazy. Well, he wasn't. It's something that happens in the family, at least on his mom's side of the family. So maybe it'll happen later with the son. I don't know. I'm not putting too much hope in that. I'm just gonna be honest. Let's have Nick in trouble, keep all the stuff, and you just go on about your business.
Well, and then we find out more about Trubel's story because they were all eating, and so Hank was over for dinner and Nick and all them, and they called Trubel.
Was Hank invited? I don't think.
Was it Hank? Oh, I'm sorry, Monroe and Rosalee. Was it Monroe?
I think it was just Monroe and Rosalee.
Okay.
I'm like, who still has not been invited to a dinner? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we did leave out the part where okay, it was the episode before where she was shown. They took her over to Rosalie and Monroe's house, and they vogeled in front of her, and they explained that not all of them are bad. And I really like her reaction to it because she just kind of stared at him, and she was just like, "This is weird," but she didn't be like, "Get away from me! All of you are evil," and blah blah blah. I don't believe you. She's very receptive to learning and not stubborn, and I like that because I cannot stand stubborn people.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the fact that Monroe was not trying to get near her, I think probably helped a little bit initially, after they first met, and just Nick trying to explain things to her, and the fact that Nick knows these Vesson and they haven't tried to kill him, that hopefully that line of thinking was already starting to form in her mind, so to speak, as she gets more information regarding the Vesson world. Yeah.
And what was the first question out of her mouth? How do you know that I'm a Grimm? That's why I can't believe Nick never asked the question. That's exactly what I would ask. How did they know? And then when she was told, she's like, that is cool.
Yes, I do have to give the writers credit for giving her deadpan, and she plays it really well, deadpan sarcasm. I'm really loving that.
Yes, you know who does sarcasm well, and you don't know that they're being sarcastic until 5 minutes later.
Stop it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I just really like how all this character is shaping up, and then she did go over her backstory, how what was it? Who was the guy that he tried to he took her into the garage, It
and
was
trying to mess with her. A
yeah,
little girl, Bill one
a little girl when she was at foster home,
Mm-hmm.
and he turned into a monster, and she just grabbed a screwdriver, and I think he backed off her. I don't know if she hurt him. He didn't die or anything, but she told everybody what she saw, and nobody believed her, so she was automatically marked as crazy and put into facility, and it was just sad. You could even see, like, Rosalee was, like, trying not to. It was sad, and Juliet was, like, staring at her, and everybody was just like, oh, I just want to hug you, and then she had more spaghetti.
Yeah, she's very hungry. I think she's been she's had to probably live off on very little food, so the opportunity to eat more food presented itself. She definitely took that. I don't really blame her for that because she's like, I don't know how long this will last. When Juliet invited her to go shopping, she doesn't know how long this is gonna last.
Oh, it's so sad. I just want to give her a hug. It is. It's so sad. Like, she's like always got to be defensive. She's like, they can kick me out at any moment, and then I'm on my own, so I just need to be prepared for it. I'm like, oh, but you're a part of the family now.
Before Will, I'm better. I'm better.
They need to say something to Will. They do. It's not right. And then you got Adalind. Adalind, I don't even know what to... Leave Juliet, for crying out loud, just leave Juliet alone. Like, I don't understand why you keep going... And this, like, the spell that she did is not necessarily going to hurt Juliet. It's more to trick Nick, but her powers are growing. I don't remember her being telekinetic or telekinesis or whatever it is, but she picked up that vase and threw it at Sean's head and with her mind. And is that because she just had a baby and something weird went with that? Because she wasn't able to do that before, right?
If she was, she didn't really use it, so maybe just didn't know that she could do that.
I wanted to do a shout out to like the beginning where Sean Renard was like stark naked in the apartment. Thank you, writers of Grimm. That was outstanding. He's like a specimen, isn't he?
He's a very good-looking man. I'm not gonna lie, but it just seems like they should have one of the cast members have a shirtless moment at least once per episode. I don't know. But what do you?
My goodness.
We're women. What do you expect?
I can't help it. So yeah, shout out to that. And he's been so suspicious of her anyway, which is good. He uses his instincts that she's up to no good, and she is up to no good. And I'm scared for what's going to happen next week because she pretends that she's Juliet, and Nick spills the beans, and she's going to go psycho.
Well, I have a feeling that. Apparently, from what the preview showed, it just seems like she's gonna wind up sleeping with Nick, and gross. And it's gonna be one of those things where I guess if he does it with a Vesson, he loses his grimness or something. Like, I don't know how that's gonna help her make him lose his grimness, other than screw the heck out of his relationship with Juliet. But it's not his fault, because this vindictive woman that is trying to rescue her baby from the royals because she doesn't know that the baby is with her mom or his mom. It
was a horrible plan from the beginning, and this is what happens. They needed to find another way to deal with it, and they didn't. And this is, I mean, you can't. I think they're vengeful by nature, right? That Vesson. So
seems like it.
Yeah, so it's just like, I don't understand why they thought she was gonna go away, and they should have told her something. I don't know. I don't know why they assumed she would never contact the royals. Of course she's gonna contact the royals.
They did mention that she would contact the royals, but they also, rationalized that even if what's his face told Adalind that he didn't have the baby, she wouldn't believe him. So their rationale was, oh well, she'll try and contact the royals, they'll tell her whatever, and then she'll just be focused on the royals versus whatever they were doing, and that was just a bad idea.
I think they should have said that the resistance has it, because that's true, because his mom is kind of part of the resistance, and there's no way for her to find anybody from the resistance.
Other than Renard.
Is Renard part of the resistance, or well, I guess he is, but it's kind of weird, like he's removed too, because the royals kind of watch him, so he doesn't really, I don't know.
Yeah. And can we also point out that we actually got to meet Daddy, Renard's dad?
Yes, we did. We did see him again, because I have that in my notes. Was that in My Fair Vesson or the last episode? That was the 2 episodes. So the very first episode we talked about, we saw his father. And he was just basically saying, to the cousin who's running the royals right now, you better take care of this. But because my question was like, why is he not in charge?
It wasn't really answered unless he's kind of like retired. You like retired?
I guess, but I feel like he had his faculties about him. He was still in the threatening mode, so it's like he could obviously do the job. I wonder if he was ostracized after Renard was born, maybe?
Probably.
But they wouldn't introduce him if we weren't going to see him later, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that will definitely be interesting to see more of Renard's daddy. And even if they'll even remotely interact with each other, whether it's like a phone call or him showing up in Portland, I don't know.
And when Adalind was doing that spell, all I could think about was the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter.
Thank you. I was like, that's where you went to. You did not go. You did not end up well. I'm sorry.
I know. I was fully expecting the hat to start talking. Gryffindor. No, it was really interesting.
She would be Slytherin, but
Yeah, she would totally be Slytherin. But yeah, she did some hocus pocus to change into Juliet, and I wonder what she's going to do with Juliet, because she's got to get her out of the way in order to take her over.
Well, it seems like, according to the previews, Trubel already knows that something's up, that there's 2 Juliets, which is a good thing. And then I'm seeing Renard shot. Who the heck, other than that guy that's been after him for the last several episodes, the guy that failed his job in the first place, manages to shoot him. I'm like, don't shoot Renard.
He better have a vest on.
He better. Although I thought I saw blood.
I'll be mad.
I'll be very upset.
Don't do this to me. Don't.
Considering how we just talked about what a fine-looking man he is, and we need more shirtless moments from Captain Renard.
I'll throw something. I will. I'll just pick up my laptop and be like, ah!
Oh boy.
So the finale is next week.
This coming Friday.
Yeah, I guess so. Sunday is the beginning of the week. So yes, this coming Friday.
Yes.
So it's going to be the wedding.
And then they're gonna cliffhang us again. I know they will, and they're gonna be like, "See you next year." Just some kind of smart aleck comment at the very end. I know that they're gonna do that to us again.
It's like going to be the start of a massive brawl, and then they're going to fade to black. Because what are they going to do? They're going to have Nick there, and what are they going to say? Trouble, you can't come. If they have Trouble there, they're going to have 2 Grimms there. It's not going to end well.
It's not going to end well.
And if Adalind is there, dressed as Juliet, I mean, she could. You never know.
Yeah. Poor Juliet. Hey, that's what happens when you're involved with the Grimm. Just saying.
Right?
That's how it works.
So I guess we will be back next week doing a recap of the finale, and maybe what we thought about the season as a whole compared to the first season.
Second season.
Second season. Gosh, it's on the 3rd season. Come on, Kim. Yeah, and just our general thoughts about it. So look for that. But it is that time again where we have to give you where to reach us. So, Natasha, you go first.
At WillCat12 and at the Nerd Element. You know, I live tweet a lot of shows. Once Upon a Time, the finale's on tonight. I need to talk to you, Kim, about Once Upon a Time. Sorry.
So, you can tell that Natasha really likes Once Upon a Time, so we will probably be doing a Once Upon a Time special because the show does need to be talked about because it is a very good show, and I don't want it to end, but it's going to, and I'm probably going to be in a funk about it.
Yes, we will be in a funk about it.
So we will do, so look for that special coming up. You can reach me at anime23, also at the Nerd Element, though Natasha does most of the live tweeting for the East Coast, because our East Coast followers are the most active. I do some for the West Coast sometimes, and we have some active people on the West Coast, but West Coast people, get out there too. Don't let these East Coast people overshadow us.
Well, I mean, we do have someone else live tweeting 24, and you do live tweet Orphan Black, so because you have a podcast.
Yes, but here's the thing: things that are on BBC America, they air at the same time everywhere, just like HBO does. So it's not really the West Coast people are coming out; it's just that the East Coast and West Coast people are seeing it at the same time. I want us West Coast people to represent, Let's do this.
And we may need to do something for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, just because that's been one heck of a season. Yeah, we may do we can do summer specials here.
Yes, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got picked up too, so we'll talk about that. Finally got the A-OK for the next season, so we're excited.
I'm still mad about Almost Human. Boo.
Yeah, it's been kind of rough couple of weeks, and it's only going to get rougher because I believe all the Renew stuff is going to be done by the 29th, so we're going to get the word on all the shows by, I think, the 29th of May, so they're coming fast and furious, so if you haven't found out about your show yet, it is probably coming in the next couple of days or the next week, so look out for that. Maybe we'll mention it in some of these TV talks, so yeah, look out for that too. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here. We will see you We're probably going to do a recap of Game of Thrones, too, within the next week. So,
yeah.
You will see us then. All right.
All righty. Bye.